Hey everybody, that doesn't know me, my name's Jordy Johnson from Carving Fusion. This is going to be a different video. It's not really going to be talking about wood carving. It's going to be telling a story about the wood carving that I'm working on today. So it's going to be a voiceover. It might be long. And I want to apologize ahead of time if I get my words confused. I got a brain injury and I just sometimes forget what I was going to say. So skip to the chase, whatever that saying goes. I live in a town called Ladner, British Columbia, Canada. It's a old school farming and fishing town, commercial. Not so much anymore, still is, but everything's just kind of changing around the world, right? I moved here when I was 5 years old. My mom brought me here. My dad lived in Vancouver, British Columbia. So I spent the weekends at my dad in the city. And the rest of the time here with my mom in Ladner. It's about 20 minutes outside of Vancouver, Ladner. So, in grade 4, and here in Ladner, I was in a school called Ladner Elementary. I failed grade 4. Voluntarily, I failed myself because I don't think I deserved to pass. So I didn't want to stay in Ladner Elementary anymore because my friends would be in a grade above me and I'd be held back with the younger kids, right? So I decided to go to a new school. And it was called Delta Manor. So I had to start over again, make new friends. And I want to say here, with all complete honesty and stuff like that, even in grade 1 and even kindergarten, I was troubled. Not like I tried to have troubles, but I just had troubles. My mom sent me in for testing and stuff like that, but I don't know where they're here somewhere in the house because I live where my parents lived. But I can't find the testing papers. But I want to say, first off, I think that I have autism. I think I have something called Asperger's my whole life. I'm connecting all the dots now, and I really believe I do. My son was born with Asperger's, very mild form of it, but I think that's where my problems came from, because I always had lots of friends. I was always popular, but I was always just a little bit different. Like getting into trouble, I had a terrible temper. And that's what, my nickname in grade 1 from grade 5 was Spaz. You know, when anybody called me a spaz, I'd spaz out and I'd probably beat them up or get beat up, but it would just lead to violence. And every time after I got into a fight, I would always run off on my own and cry somewhere because I've never liked fighting, and I've done it most of my life. But anyways, that's not what this video is about. There's so when I went to Delta Manor, there was I met some friends pretty quick. They were into sports like baseball and soccer and stuff like that, so we played lots of sports. There was a girl in the school in my grade, so I was a year older than her. And her smile just stuck out to me. She always had, I'll say her name was Jen Brown. She always had her shirts were always the whitest shirts, and she was more tanned. Her skin was more tanned color, not just so pale white. And she had the biggest smile, and she was just it just seemed like she was always glowing. And I was just so attracted. I guess even in grade 5, I guess the word would be attracted to her, and I don't know, she's Jen Brown. What this video is really about is Jen Brown, telling the story a bit here, if anybody want to listen. So she knew that I had a crush on her. We'll call it a crush back then, right? She knew I had a crush on her, and I think we dated for a little bit until she probably figured out I was a weirdo and dumped me. But me and Jen, even to this present day, we've always kept in contact. So we dated, and I think it was grade 5 or something. It was just kind of just a little cute date thing, whatever. She had a brother, Jeff. I don't think Jeff was too fond of me. Jeff was a year older than her, so I was actually Jeff's age, right? But Jeff never said anything mean to me or did anything rude or nothing. We just kind of, I guess the simple word would be like what's the freaking word? Avoided each other. So, I don't think her parents at that time was very fond of me either, because, well, I was a troubled child, and it's a small town. So right now there's like 33,000 people in Ladner. I think back then there was probably like 20,000 people, maybe even way less. And everybody knew each other. So the story on Jordy was probably out, the troubled child, right? So I feel bad for my mom. Anyways, so me and Jen stopped dating, long story short, but we always kept in contact. So grade 4, I think I got kicked out of Delta Manor in grade 7. And then because, well, I got into a fight with the principal, but we'll just leave that there. So I went back to Ladner Elementary School and finished grade 7 back at Ladner Elementary. Then grade 8 was high school. So high school was back when me and Jen really connected again, because there's only one high school in Ladner, right? So we were all in the same school. And I think we did date again in grade 8. I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure we did. But then once again, it didn't last too long. I always had I have a special spot in my heart for Jen. I just thought she was the most beautiful girl there was. Inside and out, her smile, and when she looked at me, she just had these glossy eyes, and I just loved it when she looked at me. I just loved it when we were in the hallway and she walked by me and she'd say, "Hi, Jord." And I was never really a loser in high school, but I just kind of one of those troubled kids. I knew everybody, and anyways, so we dated in high school. Jen ended up getting... I had different girlfriends, she had different boyfriends, but she ended up getting this boyfriend that was actually quite a bit older than all of us. His name was Niles Abertson. He was a tough guy. Okay, I was kind of tough because I was a spaz. I just had a reputation as being a spaz, right? But Niles was tough. He was a tough. I like Ladner. Ladner's very popular for lacrosse. He was a well-known, respected lacrosse player and fighter. I went to a couple of his lacrosse games, well, because I had friends playing on there too, and I seen him fight. And this one team came down to Ladner, and it was supposed to be the toughest guy in the league. And I seen Niles just beat the living shit out of him. Niles wasn't a very big guy, but he was raised on a farm, right? So he had 2 brothers, Shane and Drew, and they're tough guys too. But when Niles and Jen hooked up and started going out, I said, "Well, whoa, stay clear of Jen, because Niles will beat the living shit out of you, Jordy." You know, because I used to think nobody could beat the shit out of me, but when it came to Niles, he was a tough guy. But one thing I want to say about Niles, so it's small town. We weren't friends or anything like that. We had totally different crews of friends. Like, they were on one side of Ladner, we were on the other side of Ladner. But sometimes we would be at the same party. I'd always say, "Hi, Jen," and Niles would just be like, "Hey, Jordy." No, I'd say, "Hey, Niles." That would be about it. And I'd kind of make sure to stay out of his way. I guess it would be more of a respect thing, possibly fear, but more of a respect thing, because he was so well respected. And it's basically going out with a cheerleader for freaking football, for the quarterback of the football team, right? So anyways, this long story short, they continued to go out for years, and they were a happy couple. And I know they had their problems. I heard things, they broke up here and there, and I always tried to snoop around about Jen a little bit because I cared about her so much. I loved her. So as time went on, I got a phone call that Niles Abertson died. Jen loved him. He died. I guess they were in a car crash. I guess his friend, I'm not too sure. I don't want to say what it was because I don't know, but I know their vehicle flipped and Niles passed away. And it was, I went to his funeral to support Jen. I said hi to her. She probably didn't even realize that I was there, but I was there for her. Because I didn't really know Niles, but I was there to support her in my own heart and soul, I just wanted to be there for her. And it was a pretty striking thing to happen in such a small community, because he was such a popular, well-known guy, and he was respectful. Like, he was never once said anything disrespectful. He knew who I was. Absolutely, you're damn straight. He knew who Geordie Johnson was. But did he ever say one thing rude or mean to me or violent? Never. Not once. So he passed away. I believe his Niles' mom was a big part of the I think she's a big part of the community or the Delta Corporation or something like that. There's a spot here in Ladner where it's marked. It's kind of like a willow tree where the vehicle flipped over. And every time I drive by there, I just kind of think of Niles. And I've been in contact with Jen, and she talks about it. And she goes there and talks to him, like goes to the tree. It's a willow tree. Goes there and talks to him. So, yeah. I want to go on to say they were kind of like a group, like Jen's brother, Jeff, and then Niles and all those guys, and there was another guy named Clayton Montgomery. I want to tell this quick story about Jeff's best friend, Clayton Montgomery. When we were in high school, I was just standing there talking with friends, and all of a sudden I'm standing in the hallway. I think I already told this story, but I'm standing in the hallway, and all of a sudden, boom! Geordie! Somebody smashed their binders on the top of my head, just like whack. So I looked, and me and Clayton really didn't get along too well. And I just looked over, and I just popped. I smoked him in the lip. I punched him. His lips split open like a watermelon falling off a 2-story building, landing on the cement. Just popped, split open, and exploded. So it was just like, holy shit. I think when I did that, I think he kind of tucked and went into the classroom. But later on that day, people were coming up to me, Clayton wants to fight you, Clayton wants to fight you. And I thought to myself, why does he want to fight me? He started it, I ended it, it should be over. But now he wants to fight it. So me being Geordie, I had to try and maintain my reputation. I don't know what it was, but I went and tracked him down or something like that, and boom, we got into it. Because I didn't fight after school, 3:30 bullshit. I didn't want to fight to entertain people. I always fought in the friggin' hallways or wherever it was, on the spot, right there. Let's go now, boom. So anyways, me and Clayton fought again, and then I'm going to admit that I lost that fight. But after that fight, I went and hid somewhere and I cried. I did it lots growing up. Every fight, I'd go take off by myself and just cry, because I didn't like the feeling. I didn't like the angry feeling that I used to get. It wasn't normal. It was bad. So long story short, we all out of high school. I'm not too sure what we kind of lost contact. I'm not too sure what's going on. But I did hear, like I said, Clayton was Jeff Brown's best friend. And Jeff Brown married Clayton's sister. Her name was Sunshine, a real beautiful blonde girl. And they had a few kids. Clayton passed away sometime years after high school. He passed away. He had cancer in the stomach, I believe it was. Somebody told me that. Thanks, Ron. And it's me and Clayton were never friends. We never liked each other, but it still hurt because I knew it was like Niles was such an impact in their group of friends, and then Clayton, it was just like such a impacted thing, right? Like I just felt bad for the group of people, for Mrs. Brown and Mr. Brown and all of them, because Jeff was married to Clayton's wife, Sunshine, so that's Clayton was Sunshine's brother, so she lost her brother, and Jeff lost his best friend, and Jen lost one of her good friends, and they just lost a piece of their clique. So terrible stuff. Jen ended up getting married and moving up country, like into towards the Terrier in a town called Kelowna. We became back in touch and contact and stuff like that after I had my injury. She reached out to me, and actually we talked quite a bit. And yeah, we met each other at a few of our local school. I didn't graduate, but I still got invited to the reunions, and I went. They sucked. They were boring as hell, not my type of people, but I went because I knew Jen was going to be there. So awful that Clayton passed away. As time went on, I had my injury. I'm dealing with my recovery. About 2 years ago from now, no, No, about a year ago from now, I see Jen's brother is on my Facebook, and I seen he posted that his son. I can't say for certain how old he was, but he couldn't be too old, maybe 20, 21, 22. His son, sorry, Jeff, if you watch this, which I'm sure you're going to, his son passed away. I was just like, I messaged Jeff and I said, I messaged him, and I never messaged Jeff before. We never talked really. Like, we kind of just avoided each other. And Jeff will know what I'm talking about when I'm making this video. But I said, Jeff, I'm so fucking sorry. And just, it's such terrible stuff that's happened to your family. It's sickening to me. The amount of pain that your family's gone through, from Niles to Clayton to now your very own son passing away. And it's still to this day makes me shake my head. And I feel bad thinking about it. Imagine how they feel, the family. 3 people, like, such big influences in each other's lives and important to each other, especially Jeff and Sunshine's own child. I don't have any place talking about it. But I think it's almost sickening to me, the amount of pain that family has gone through. I've continued carving, doing my thing. I have a great job. I'm a longshoreman. I can go to work. I could be pretty wealthy if I went to work every day, but I got the brain injury and I just love carving. That's what I do. It just makes me happy. Finally, for the first time in my life, I have found something that has made me happy. I've found a passion. That's what carving is for me. Last week, what's today? My birthday's August 17th. Last week, I got a message from an old friend. Well, not a friend, acquaintance in Ladner. We've known each other, small town. I actually, you know what? I'd call him a friend. Ron, I'd call you a friend. He texted me. He messaged me on Facebook. Message me right away, please. It's very important. And I'm thinking, what the hell? I get lots of messages from people in Ladner wanting to buy my carvings, but this one was kind of different. So I was at my carving station. I kind of wait home till I replied to the message. I said, what's up? What's up, Ron? He goes, please call me right away. Please call me right away. So I called him. I said, hey, Ron, what's up? He goes, George, you sitting down? I'm like, yep. He goes, well, I got some terrible news. I says, what's that? He goes, Ron and Jen Brown have been best friends forever, okay? There's no doubt about that. He goes, Jen Brown is in the hospital. She had a major heart attack in Kelowna. And I was just kind of like, what? He goes, she's in the hospital. She's had a major heart attack. She's on life support. Her brain is dead. And it's Jen Brown's mom, Shirley, that wanted me to contact you about this. And I said, Jen's mom told you to contact me. He goes, yes. I want to stop right now and say I have been in contact, like me and Jen's, about the spirit trails, and Jen's mom, Shirley, I call her Mrs. Brown. She did send me messages about how much she loved the spirit trails, and it's good to see the little punk Geordie's changed and he's giving back, and she's just thankful that we're in such a great community and this and that. And so she has been in touch with me a few years back, which surprised me because I always thought Mr. Brown and Mrs. Brown hated me because I was just Geordie, that little shithead. Who knows, maybe Jen kept me a secret from her parents too, right? back in the elementary school days, maybe she didn't tell her parents about me, but I'm sure they knew. And anybody that knows me from Ladner watching this video, you'll know exactly what I'm saying about little shithead Geordie. You'll know exactly what I'm saying. So Jen Brown's in the hospital. So Ron, thanks for calling me on that. And Miss Brown, when you watch this video, I just want to say thank you for, what an honor. That sure made me feel special that you reached out wanting me to know that your daughter's in the hospital. Because, Miss Brown, I've always loved your daughter. Always. She's been a piece to my broken heart. I have a fucking golden soul. I have the toughest soul out there. But my heart's broken. It's been broken for a long time. But my soul is what keeps it together. So I know Jeff posted when his son died on Facebook, and I watched Facebook. I didn't talk to anybody about. I talked to my brother Colin about Jen. I told him. He told me he reached out to Jeff and said Jordy knows and Jordy's sorry. I watched Facebook to see if I see Jeff's post. When I woke up yesterday, I looked at Facebook and there was Jeff's post. Jen Brown passed away. I knew it was coming. I'm sure she had her problems in life. I have my problems in life. We all have our problems in life, but the sparkle in her eye, boy, she had a great sparkle. I'll never forget it. So when you got Facebook Messenger, you can go back and you can read all the messages that when somebody passes away. That's the only good thing about Facebook. Well, it's good to try and show your art, but it's also good because you can go back and reread the messages that you guys write back and forth. And there was a good couple months there where we were talking every day recently. Well, in the last couple of years, we talk every day, and I think we were playing like cribbage or something. I forget what, but we were playing. She was up at Kelowna, I was down here, and we were playing like a computer game online. This carving's for Jen. This carving's for Jen's mom. She can do what she wants to do with it. That's not my place. It's nothing special. It's not like a crazy fancy carving, but it's the whole time that I worked on this piece, I was thinking about Jen, I was thinking about Niles, I was thinking about the Abersons, I was thinking about Jeff Brown, I was thinking about the fucking tragedy that family has faced. And now Jen. It's just fucking disgusting. It really is, but it's life. What can you do? What can you do? Nothing. You can only try and stay positive and know that their souls with you. So Jen's was married. She has a couple kids. I feel terrible for the kids. I feel terrible for her husband. I never got the chance to meet her kids. Maybe I met her daughter once. Maybe she brought them over here once. I think I did, but I forget things because of my injury all the time. Miss Brown, this is your carving. I want you to know that I thought about everything, every second that I worked on it. Niles was always Jen's love. Jen named her son. One of her sons, his middle name is Niles. But every time I saw Jen, it was always Niles this, Niles that. I knew that. I knew that was Jen's love. True love forever. But Jen moved on. Now I hope she's in heaven, if there is a heaven. And there is. There has to be, because my mom's there. I hope she's with Niles. And they're rejoicing. And I hope one day Niles gets to meet way down. We're talking like 60 years, 70 years, 80 years down the road. When Jen's kids pass away, they get to meet Niles too. And Jen rekindles with her husband. It's such a sad thing. I hope this isn't a depressing video. I'm just making this to show how I deal with my hurt, and I don't try and get attention when somebody's gone. When I'm not the root. Well, I'm hurting, but like I already said, the Brown families are the ones that are really hurting, and I pray that this can just bring a little bit of a smile to Mrs. Brown. The tree here is where Niles passed away. This is where his car flipped over. His friend's car flipped over, and this is where Niles passed away. And you guys can see here that I carved Jen Brown's initials on it. I also carved Niles' initials on it too, because I think that's what needs to be on there. I'd love to have Jen Brown plus JJ, Jordy Johnson, but no, not this time. This isn't my story, this is their story. And it's just a sad thing. It's just a sad thing. This is how I give back. Give back. It will make you feel good. It will somehow release your hurt. Like I said, a broken heart with a golden soul. That's who I am.